The distance formula. When we are trying to find the distance between any 2 points in the coordinate plane. So if we have our coordinate plane, if I have 2 points and they happen to be lined up vertically, then it's easy enough to find the distance by just counting the units, or since they have the same x value, we could just subtract the y's. And we can find that distance between those 2 points. Same idea if I have 2 points that happen to be lined up horizontally. Again, they have the same y value, so this time I can subtract the x's to find the distance between those 2 points. The difficulty is when we have points that are not lined up horizontally or vertically, when they're diagonally, like these two. To find this distance here is a little trickier. You can't just count the units. So what we can do, notice that we have a triangle, a right triangle, and according to Pythagorean's theorem, then the distance of this side, the length of this side squared, plus the length of this side squared, should equal the length of this side squared. Well, we don't want this distance squared, so we're going to have to take the square root to get it back to just the distance. And so that tells us then that our distance is going to be equal to the square root of this distance, which remember we could find by subtracting the x's. So we'll call this one x2 and the other one x1. And so if I subtract the two x values, I get this distance, and then I want to square that, plus this distance. Again, same x value, so we can subtract the y's this time. So we're going to call it y2 minus y1 will give us this distance here. And then we square that. And then again, we have to take the square root of the whole thing to get just the d. And so this gives us our distance formula, which allows us to find the distance between any 2 points in the coordinate plane. So for example, if I want to find the distance between the points 3, -1, and -2, 6. So I have 2 points in the coordinate plane. I know I can use the distance formula to find the distance between them. So one of these points I'm going to call x1, y1, and the other one I'm going to call x2, y2. And it doesn't matter which. And so now I just need to plug them into my formula. The square root of, we take our x2, which is -2, and we subtract our x1, which is 3, squared, plus y2, which is 6, minus y1, which is -1, squared. And so now we need to be careful of our signs when we're simplifying. We get the square root of a -2 minus 3 gives us a -5 squared, plus 6 minus a -1 gives us +7 squared. Continuing to simplify, we now have 25 plus 49, which gives us the square root of 74. So the distance between the points 3, -1 and -2, 6 is the square root of 74, which is approximately 8.6 units.